he go do everything wrong he can, and he don't have no sense of repentance, and he lives inside you too. So if you really think about it, according to science, everybody who lives that is saved is actually bipolar. Bi meaning two. You got two natures. And if you say you don't, you lying. I don't care how sweet you are, how innocent you look, you struggle with some sin every day. If it ain't nothing but knocking a coworker out, if it ain't nothing but changing some numbers, if it ain't nothing but an open register that always got over $1,000 in it, we got a slave inside of us that fights with the free man or woman that we have become and challenges us to go back to where we've been delivered from. That's what that purse was for me. That's what that purse was for me. I told my dad, wait in the car, I took that purse right off, they didn't even look in it. Could have been $1 million. It wasn't mine. It wasn't mine. One sin precedes another. Don't let nobody lie to you, it's true. If you steal, you will kill. If you kill, you will lie. That's a fact. Sin is a progressive slide with no brakes on the truck. It starts as a small thing. I didn't think it was important. I told you I took $60 out of the account. What's the problem? I don't understand. I work hard as you do. Then when I come home and the lights is off, I said, well, why you didn't pay the bill? Well, I couldn't pay the bill. The money I had allocated for that, you took. By the way, what'd you do with the 60? I ain't got to tell you nothing. I'm grown. I do what I want to do. No. You don't do what you want to do. If you do what you want to do, you don't pay your utilities and you living somewhere out in the woods. Because as long as these folks send a bill here, it's got to be paid. It's got to be paid. Responsibility is the mark of true men. It ain't a matter of doing what you want to do. When you decide that you're in covenant with somebody or you have children with somebody, now it's about provision. And that's where your will has to come in. Because, you know, the first thing the devil will tell you is, need you a Corvette on, boy. You single. Why you got... And we act like we don't talk to the devil. That's what killed me. Like God, the only person we have a conversation with. I talk to the enemy all the time. You need you a Yukon XL. Why you still in that 96? That's her debt. Don't worry about that. You need you a house. Go and move out. There is a war going on in the members of every man and woman in this room. And if we never utter it aloud, and no one ever reads our thoughts, we got to be honest with God. And God knows our hearts. And there are days when it has gotten to the point where the water wasn't to our necks, it was to our nose. And every time we inhaled, we got water in our lungs. And we felt like we were drowning in whatever we were involved in. Whether it's a marriage with a blended family and 4 children, or 2 single people with good jobs. And at that point, the devil tells you, just do what you want. I submit to you, you ain't if you do it. Because men don't tuck their tail and run. If we sign on for it, we stay in army. We stay in army. And if we don't stay in army, it's because we got thrown out, not because we walked out. And that's a hard thing. That's a hard thing. Because it's hard to feel mistreated and still do right. It's hard. The inner conflict rages daily. In verse 15 through 17 of Romans 7, this is what he said. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that I do. You know, there's some sins that we just so used to doing, it's like an old habit. We can't get away from it. We can't even explain it, but we just always seem to do it. And then the conclusion of the matter in verse 17 for him was, now then it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. I like that word dwell, because that word dwell means that it inhabits. It refers to cohabit with. The sin nature doesn't leave, it is no longer dominant in me. People tell you this lie that when you get saved, you never get tempted again. Jesus is the only person that was never tempted. The rest of us going to end up having temptation. Now, I don't know what your particular vice is, but if I was betting a dime to $1, right after you committed your life to God, you probably got real popular with whatever it was that you didn't have no business with. And it ain't always women. Might be money. Folks start coming to you and asking you, could you hold this for them? You know they drug dealers. They're partners of yours. They've been dealing dope forever. Hell no, I'm not taking that stuff in my house and put my wife and my life at risk. Could you ride here with me? Every time I ever known you to ride somewhere, you had a pistol on you. And you ain't got no permit, and you a convicted felon. Then when the police pull you over, it's the white man. No, it's the right man. Because if you had any sense at all, you wouldn't still be linked up with leftover people who ain't trying to do nothing with their life. It's the reason I come see you, Ricky. I don't hang out with a bunch of dudes. If you see me in the crowd, they got me at gunpoint. I learned in prison that it's important to be an individual. I love my sons, but I don't even mess with family a lot. I got family here in the city. You saw some of them at their birthday occasion down there. I'm not funny acting a stink. If they ain't trying to do right, I already been to jail. It's somebody else's turn. I'm not going back. I got too much stuff to do to keep stepping in and out of incarceration. I got a call on my life. And if nobody else don't believe it, I do. So I don't have time to worry about where I'm going to be locked up this week because I can't do right. I got a cousin I love very much. He's a crack addict. The year he graduated from Tompkins High School, he was the #1 quarterback in the nation. This boy could thread a needle with a ball. He was vicious with it. Somewhere along the line, the enemy was him, and he allowed himself to take drugs. Well, if you study psychology, and I pray y'all get some of this in college, some people have addictive personalities. They can hit dope one time and they'll never be the same. They'll be naked and crazy the rest of their lives. Some people can hit crack and never go back. I don't know why that is either, but it's the truth. Mike had an addictive personality. So about 2 days ago, my wife was telling me, did you know your cousin was out? I said, he's been out. But he's so messed up, Nicky, that even when he's out, he's still in jail. It's something to be walking around and still be bound. That your addiction got you so messed up. That your Jones is so strong. That you ain't even in control. He got kids. And every time he go to jail, my aunt make excuses for him. Your daddy out of town. Don't tell him he in jail again. I don't know if I agree with that. When I came home, I didn't blame white people. I didn't tell my children hate the government. I didn't tell my children kill cops. I said, your daddy guarded some dope, and he did some time. Now let's get on with our lives. I think reality is the best thing you can give a child. All that bull crap and lies, if you practice it, now you got to remember it. And kids got good memories. Now you might tell him that lie today, and then next week something else, and he gonna say, that don't jive, Dad. That ain't what you said last time. You got him defending you with all his friends whose parents know the truth, and he getting in fights at school, and you're actually guilty. The enemy is me. If you're honest with yourself, everybody else will be too. It begins here. It begins here. The thought of good is present. It is the will to perform it that causes the problem. I think that's true with all of us, you know. Something as small as cursing. Not using profanity, You know better before it come out your mouth. But in a lot of cases when you get angry, and you have a pretty large vocabulary, so it's not that you're illiterate, you just have a problem expressing yourself outside of things that people understand. We was to the mission last night, and the brother, I think I was the only one really paid any attention. He said, I'm glad I got saved, because before I got saved, if something would have went wrong, I'd have told y'all some new cuss words. He said, no, I ain't talking about none of that old stuff, some real bad stuff. And in my mind, I had to laugh because I struggle with profanity. So I understand what he's saying. But here's what the word perform means. In verse 21, it says, is that what I want? 18, 21. Okay, it's in verse 18, I'm sorry, of Romans 7. It says, for I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me. I want to do right. But how to perform that which is good, I find not. The word perform there means to finish it. You know, one of the things they teach you in sports, if you ever played, is follow through. When you start to tackle, you got to finish it. When you catch the ball, now you got to tuck it and run. It's the same thing in God's kingdom with subduing the sin nature that is